speaking of letting you cook, Bears fans want to know, will you add an edge rusher here in the offseason? It's like the number one question we receive here on the show. What would your response be to that?
Yeah, I think of my group and I, we've proven that we're always, investigating options via trade, signing someone that's still available, post-free agency. So we don't really stop looking for talent. And
Ryan, when you got those shoes, and I know you're a Jordan guy because I've seen you in Jordans before, like, did you ask for those to be customs? Were those given to you? Tell us the story about those shoes real quick.
Yeah, no, it was a surprise. One of our staff members here had a relationship with a guy named Chris Wade, who has Wade Custom Shoes, and he came in with a box maybe the day before the draft and was like, I want to show you something, and gave me a letter. So he made these shoes for me just kind of as a special gift prior to the draft, but they were really cool.
The Bears Care Gala is tomorrow night. Do you have something special for that, the event tomorrow night at Soldier Field?
No, more traditional. We're going to go traditional tuck. They've changed it up a little bit with the coat, but we're going to go just traditional black shoes.
I appreciate that. There's a time and place to wear Jordans. I get that. But when you dress up, like you see some people dress up in Jordans for like weddings and stuff like that. You're a time and a place guy. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you guys see it on TV all the time. The new fad is that you have a suit with gym shoes.
Yeah.
I know that they're Jordans, they're special, this, that, and the other, but that didn't used to always be the case. And Ryan, with Adam and I would say that Adam has more fashion sense for himself, but my wife picks out all my clothes for me. Which way would you go? Are you interested in what you're picking out to wear, or do you say, yeah, whatever is picked out for me, I'm cool to go with that?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty simple. I like to change up the shoes here and there, but pretty simple, traditional, keep it easy.
What's the favorite pair that you own, the favorite pair of Jordans that you have?
I had a buddy give me the Travis Scott ones, which were pretty cool.
Those are nice. I got lucky and got a pair of those too, and those are easily, that and a pair of Off-Whites that I have are easily my favorites.
Yeah, nice.
So, Ryan, when we look at the schedule released yesterday, the Bears open with the Packers. Long time. It's our biggest rival. What are your initial thoughts of looking at the schedule that was released yesterday?
Yeah, I got excited. I like the schedule a lot. A lot of primetime games, in those big spots. And I think, with a young team, they're going to elevate to that, and they're going to be excited to play and obviously open the season up with the Packers. I know we're excited about that opportunity.
When you look at the schedule, obviously the road games are business trips, right? You're trying to win a football game. But when you see some of these teams on the schedule, take the division teams out of it and take the Chiefs out of it too, because I know that's a special relationship that you have being there for so long. Going back to Kansas City is going to be special for you. Is there another team that you're excited to go face on the road that's like a great venue, a great football town, like something you got to go eat, or a restaurant you got to go to while you're there, like New Orleans or LA for the Chargers? Are you looking at any games that you've circled on a personal level?
Yeah, I think New Orleans. I'm a big college football guy, so I look forward to that intense, loud environment, kind of that college feel, and I think New Orleans is probably the one besides Kansas City that kind of has that feel. So looking forward to getting in there. I've been to a bunch of college games and pro games there, and it's a different atmosphere, and I'm looking forward to it.
Ryan, I know that you get to do this for a career. Adam and I are huge college football fans. Is there a destination that you have yet to get to in college football that you're dying to get to see the atmosphere?
That's a good question. Actually, speaking of New Orleans, the LSU is a game, like a night game there is an experience I kind of want to get to.
That one would be a lot of fun. We've gone to a couple SEC games. We've been to Tuscaloosa. We've been to Tennessee. Tennessee is one of the loudest stadiums.
Yeah, Knoxville is pretty cool.
I've ever been to. It's crazy. But the New Orleans and Ole Miss, I think, it's the SEC. Really, is kind of what you have to go to for that insanely loud atmosphere like that.
Yeah, Texas A&M sneaky too. I went to an Alabama Texas A&M game, and they got a ton of tradition. It's a little bit different. I wasn't exactly sure what was going on with some of the calls and some of the people that are involved with that tradition down there. So unique experience, really loud. I thought that was cool too.
Ryan, has there ever been any talk about adding traditional type things? Because I know with the Vikings, they added the skull chant. And that's kind of relatively new. Has there ever been thought of maybe adding something to our Soldier Field home field advantage that is talked about up at Hall that maybe we could add as Bears fans to kind of put this experience over the top?
Yeah, I'm my experience in Kansas City, right? That's unique, that game day atmosphere. So I've had some ideas pop in my head that I've started to share with Kevin. I know he's into it too. So that conversation is starting to pop around. And the other thing too, I think at some point we're going to tap into, our leadership committee and some of our players to see, what do they want to in terms of that game atmosphere. So I think it is important. It does mean something. But, we just started kind of talking about that and some ideas have popped up. So we'll see what happens.
So the schedule comes out yesterday. The social media team did a great job using the Bear, the Chicago show, having all the bunch of players, a couple former players, Peanut Tillman, Spice Adams is in there. It's great. The Tennessee Titans one is very good. It's getting a lot of social media coverage. There is this thing going around of people calling you Chef Poles and letting you cook and saying, let him trade the draft picks, let him go out and acquire guys, let him not overspend, let Chef Poles cook. Is there a part of you that wanted to be in that video yesterday that was released for the schedule thing?
Oh, no, I'm not like that. I do think that's hilarious, though, the chef deal. But, no, it's interesting that I got a little sneak peek of that video, without the schedule kind of built into it before it came out, and thought it was really cool, really well done. However, I wasn't familiar with the show, so I ended up binge watching the show over like a 2-3 day period to get caught up, and it makes even more sense now, that I've watched the show. So I thought they did an outstanding job.
Yeah, it's a great show, and the video the Bears release was fantastic as well. And speaking of letting you cook, Bears fans want to know, will you add an edge rusher here in the offseason? It's like the number one question we receive here on the show. What would your response be to that?
Yeah, I think of my group and we've proven that we're always, investigating options via trade, signing someone that's still available, post free agency. So, we don't really stop looking for talent. And, so right now I would just say, we're active looking around and maybe something will happen here soon.
When you look at expectations for the season, what are your expectations for the team as a season? And then what are your expectations for Justin Fields this season?
Yeah, I think you got to break it down a little bit. I think, from now until training camp, it's really letting all these new players gel together. And they've done a fantastic job. We have an outstanding turnout in the off-season program. So they're working hard and working with each other, because obviously, there's timing, there's communication. Those things are important. So first, it's just gel and get to know each other and build that trust. Bruce has done an unbelievable job building some programs where guys are spending time together. So I'm excited about that, and I think that will come together perfectly. And then on the field, I think we just got to start having that expectation of going and winning games, and kind of having, we talk about a championship mindset. Walking into a stadium expecting to win and getting it done rather than hoping to win. So that's what I'm looking for. Really want to take that next step as an organization, as a football team, and win more games and start to get that flow going of, again, we walk into stadiums expecting to win.
Can a young team – oh, go ahead.
Just for Justin to continue to develop. He's done a nice job. He looks great right now. He's going to be familiar, with the system, with Luke and the coaching staff and the system. So, obviously added, some more protection, some more players. I'm just looking for him to take the next step.
Can a young team learn how to win?
Yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. You talk about it. You got to set the standard of what it takes to win. And then you need it to happen, obviously. So you got to be able to get, that first one and then get that second one and start to have that confidence in the season that you're capable of beating anybody. So I know we're getting there. We built some of that culture and the mindset piece. Now you got to put it in action and actually win those games. But I do think we've set a standard of how we're going to operate, and that should turn into winning.
When you look at the schedule, too, this year, you've got 2 Thursday night football games. Now, there was this resurgence or surge of offense after the mini bye that went into the Patriots game. And then you guys went on a run of scoring close to 30 points a game for a few games there before some injuries occurred. A lot of players don't really enjoy playing on Thursday night football because of the short turnaround and not having enough time to prepare and their body's still getting acclimated to the week and everything like that. But you've got 2 situations where you have 9 to 10 days to prepare for the next team. Do you, as someone who, as a GM and working with the coaching staff, you kind of like that extra time going into a divisional game because, one, you've got more time to prepare, but you could also do some self-scouting and kind of address more than you would usually be able to going into a regular week?
Yeah, I would say that's true. There's pros and cons of it. Obviously, you get a short week going into it. You get a longer week on the other side. So I think the big thing is, coach and our performance staff are really good at kind of tailoring the schedule and how we're going to practice so that, we have our guys feeling as fresh as they possibly can. But, yeah, you always like a little extra time, especially versus divisional teams, because those wins are going to be big for us.
Ryan Poles, Bears GM with Pluck and Abdallah here on ESPN 1000. Ryan, you've been in the job for over a year, 2 draft cycles. Is there a piece of advice you would give a first-time GM based on your experience in the first year and change that you've been in the job?
I would say patience. Patience, really think through, have a process of thinking through the challenges that come your way. I talk about it a lot. There's always a gray, right? It's never an easy black or white decision. So just have a process to break those, tough decisions down and make the absolute most of them in terms of what's best for the organization. The other one's probably delegate. I mean, you're getting hit with so many different things. To stay on track and the most important parts, you got to delegate to your staff. And thankfully for me, I got a really good staff around me to be able to do that and to really perform and do this job at a high level.
You mentioned patience as that advice. And how do you, quote, build this team the right way? It's a phrase we've heard a lot from yourself, from other people around the football team. How do you build this the right way? How do you balance building in the draft like you guys have, not overspending, but also seeing a free agent out there that's like, this guy could help us right now, but I don't think we're ready for that at this moment? How do you balance those two things and build this team the right way, which in my opinion means building this team for depth?
Yeah, there's a couple parts of that. One, with the draft, obviously built through the draft, being willing to not fall in love with a single player and trading back and collecting more. So that you can continue to take more swings. The other piece, free agency is being smart with the cap situation. Really try to stay away from pushing the can or kicking the can down the road because it will come back to get you. If you can stay healthy, it's going to allow you to stay flexible as you move along. So those are the big ones that kind of stand out in terms of being disciplined. And then I think actually the third part is just knowing your locker room and knowing where you're at in the process. There's going to be a time to hit the gas. There's going to be time to break. There's going to be time to take risk. So having a good feel in your locker room and your staff and where you're at in the process is really important.
We saw that Charles Tillman talk to the rookies at minicamp. Why is it important to include and bring back former Bears to talk to the newer players?
Yeah, they've been in the same seat. They've been in that seat as a rookie, regardless if they're a high draft pick, low draft pick. And they can just share some of their wisdom of things that they've gone through. I think the other thing for us that's really important is just talk about Chicago. Talk about, if you put the time in and you perform at a high level, there's no better place in the world to play and be a good football player than here in Chicago. So sharing that experience with them, want to get it highly motivating, but also just a little bit of wisdom to know what's to come here in the next few months and years.
Is it notable that a lot of former Chicago Bears players decide to come back and live in the Chicagoland area? I mean, you've been around the NFL. Is it different to other NFL locations from what you've seen?
Yeah, it is. And I think it makes it a unique destination to play and be a professional athlete. This place is special. There's a lot of opportunities after football, both business side or even career-wise. So I think it is unique, and that's why I love being here.
You've got a bunch of cap space left. That is not a secret to anybody. And you've got a few guys that are up for extensions at the end of next season. Cole Kmet, Jalen Johnson, and Darnell Mooney. Can we expect any extensions for those guys before the season starts? And with Darnell Mooney, how's his rehab going?
Yeah, Darnell's doing a really good job. In terms of extensions, that is a priority to us. Right now, just kind of coming off the draft, we're just kind of getting organized, and we'll kind of sit down and put our game plan together on how we want to do that.
Ryan, the Bears Care Gala is tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at Soldier Field. Tickets are still available. You can go to chicagobears.com/Bears Care Gala. What should people, if they go to the event, what will they expect tomorrow night at Soldier Field?
Yeah, you can see me. So no, I'm just messing with you. No, really good cause, a lot of fun, and obviously, an opportunity to raise money for, the fight against cancer, and you get to see some of your, favorite players and staff there, and some good music, and just, have a really good night down at Soldier Field. So I look at my last one, obviously last year was a good time, and I'm looking forward to it tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. We appreciate the time today.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
There he is, Ryan Poles, Bears GM, right here with Black and Abdallah on ESPN 1000. And if you have interest in the event, a limited number of tickets to the gala is available at chicagobears.com/Bears Care Gala. You can get the tickets tomorrow night, 6 to midnight at Soldier Field. It'll be a great event.